Okay, so if you are at home and do not have the materials to do the collage with physical materials, you are going to be doing this digitally. So what you're going to do is open up a Google Draw, which you should be familiar with doing at this point. But if you are not, you go over to your Google Drive, select New, then you're going to go down to More, and then select your Google Draw doc. Please label this as digital animal collage with your name attached at the end of the word collage. So for example, this would say my last name at the end. All right. You can use just your last name or your first and your last, but please put your name somewhere in that title. Now, the first thing you need to do is select an animal. So I selected an animal with no background, but I looked for PNG, but you really could search for anything, and it can also have a background because you're going to be collaging on top of this. So even though something could be existing in the background, like trees or the jungle or other lions, I would be able to collage on top of it so that I don't see those. Now, this is a little bit more of a cartoon and a little bit more graphic. We're going to be changing the whole look of this. So even though this is a traditional lion and lion color, I'm going to be collaging with a little bit less traditional we're going to be using pattern to actually collage this animal. Now, for those of you that are selecting your animal, you can select from inside here. If you go to insert and then say image, you could search the web. The problem with searching the web is that this way is limited. So what I ended up doing was going over to this Yahoo search, and I looked that way. So you could see, actually, here it is. All right. So I was thinking of doing a porcupine first, but then changed my mind to the lion to stick with what I'd been doing for all the other examples for this lesson. So once you have your animal inserted inside your digital, your Google Draw, you're going to start collaging. So the first thing you're going to do is select a paper. So what I did again, insert. I went to image and then search the web, and then I put in scrapbook paper. And what that's going to do is come up with a whole bunch of different, either just solid colors, which you can use for this, or pattern or texture. This lesson, you're supposed to be building some sort of texture, but you can actually do that within the collage itself. So let's say I select this piece of paper. I'm going to double click and insert it into the Google Draw document. Once I have that selected, I'm going to go to the crop button, and I'm going to select a shape. So now this is already a rectangular square, so I could just resize this smaller and use as is, which I will show you momentarily, or I can select a whole new shape like a circle or a triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and select the triangle. I'll use this one. And you can see that it cuts it to a triangle. I'm now going to size it so that it's smaller and will work within the lion. And I can also duplicate. So Control Copy, and then, which is Control C, and I'm multiplying a few of these so that I can use them. I'm then going to take them over to the lion and start collaging inside the lion with these shapes that I created. So you can see here that you're just going to assemble a collage. What's great about working this way is that nothing is set, right? You can kind of change as you go. I like when I'm using these triangles to have them going in all different directions. And you can see I'm using that little dot at the top to change the direction of that triangle. And I would continue to collage until I have the whole line filled up with these blue triangles. I could use other triangles or other colors if I'd like, but I can stick with this to help me, when you see what the rest of this will look like, to help this look a little bit more so that my eye doesn't get too confused. I am going to end this recording shortly and do a second part of the demonstration. So we're going to be talking a little bit about how to create some value if your animal does show value like this does. And then I'm going to show you how to use shapes to do in some of the bigger areas in the face.